A pact has been struck with an ethereal entity to serve as its vessel in order to supersede your previous life and power. Perhaps your life was cut short in the same way a wraith's was, with only revenge driving your souls. Perhaps you have been cursed to hold the soul of a ghost that was lost in time until you have completed your destiny. Or perhaps the spectre you carry sought you out as an ideal vessel to sow chaos into the material plane. Regardless of how you died, there is now an untapped power inside of you to reach goals far ahead of your normal means. Welcome back, everyone, to Luke's Homebrew. Today we are going over the Wraith Warlock Patron. Now, to some of you that might be returning, seeing these constant updates on the subclass, this video will be long overdue. However, to those just seeing the subclass for the first time, I'd like to welcome you, and I want to give you a nice verbal description and explanation as to why I have placed each of these different things. So if you're a player or DM and you're planning on using this in your own campaign, hopefully this video can answer any questions that you have. Otherwise, if you do have questions, if you go down into the doobly-doo or the description, you can go ahead and check out my Instagram and send me a DM. I always respond. Just give me a few hours or days. I'm busy. But getting ahead to the video, because that's why you're here, we have the expanded spell list to start, and then we'll go through each of the abilities. I'll tell you descriptions and my intent, and then we'll continue on. So, with the expanded spell list starting at first level, we have Command and Shield. Second level, we have Misty Step and See Invisibility. Third level, we have Animate Dead and Spirit Guardians. Fourth level, we have Death Ward, Locate Creature. Fifth level, we have Anti-Life Shell and Dominate Person. Now, each of these spells I chose as thematic elements that kind of add to the class. And as a precursor to all of this subclass was very inspired by the likes of Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. They are fantastic games, and if you haven't played them, I'm not sponsored, but you should definitely play them. But this was very inspired by the story and stuff that was explored in that game universe. So, Command is obviously very thematic. Shield is almost the wraith or ghost inside of you popping out and deflecting a attack against you. All of them are thematic. Now, to some players that might have, or DMs that have been playing for a while, you're going to spot the two immediate red flags that you might see in there, Animate Dead and Death Ward. Now, how I justified those is both of them, are very thematic. So let's start with Animate Dead. Animate Dead is a very powerful spell in the hands of a Warlock. But if you take into account the fact that a Warlock only maximum gets 4 spell slots total at 5th level, and potentially only 1 Finger of Death, unless they have magic items or anything, per long rest, that could do the math for you. It's not all too powerful. And if they do go gung-ho into creating undead, the Warlock is going to be next to useless in any other form or respect. And that isn't necessarily the intent of this class. And if you're a resourceful DM such as myself, you will know that a good fireball can kill most zombies or skeletons. So it's not that big of a deal. It's much more of a thing to help players feel a little bit more comfortable, especially being a spellcaster with low HP and all that good stuff. Now, for Death Ward, yes, it's powerful, but it's Death Ward. A cleric can cast that. Once a cleric is a higher level, they can cast down the whole damn party, and no one's going to really bat an eye. It still costs the Warlock his 4th level spell slot. It's not free. So, those are the only two major red flags that someone might see in those expanded spell lists. I have play tested these, and I honestly believe they're not game breaking. So that's just my opinion on it, and that was my intent. But moving on to the first level, ideally named the Wraith, we begin with you gain the ability to drain the life force from your enemies as a bonus action. You can force a target within 5 feet to make a con save against your spell save DC. On a failed save, they lose hit points, and you gain hit points equal to your Warlock level plus 5, up to your maximum hit points, and half as much on a successful save. I scaled this ability. This ability took so long to balance and scale, but I finally settled on it has the same scaling as Channel Divinities that a Cleric has. So that means at the beginning of 6th level, you get a second use per long rest, and 18th level, you get a third use per long rest. Additionally, in this, you gain proficiency in medium and martial weapons. In my opinion, base Warlock should always have that. I don't know why it seems to be an only subclass thing. That's just how I would homebrew it. But getting into this, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a simple saving throw, and you regain HP, they take damage. Not too much in there. Going on to the 6th level ability and Twine Souls, your patron has made death pretty much irrelevant for you and your mutual gain, as both of you are tied to one another. And story elements that I like to play with this are if your character ends up dying, potentially your patron also ends up dying because they are bound to you. That's just a flavorful thing you and your players can figure out. But that was kind of the inspiration behind this ability. And doing so, upon getting this ability, you gain advantage on death saving throws because that's important, and you gain the ability to see into the ethereal plane for 1 minute. Once you use that feature, you can only use it once per short or long rest. Pretty simple, bare bones. It just is a simple buff to your character. Next, we have Ethereal Step, which is your 10th level ability. And your understanding the ethereal plane allows you to leave the material plane and re-enter the ethereal plane for a brief second, and then re-enter, kind of like Nightcrawler Jaunt, if you were to describe it in Marvel terms. But essentially, as an action, you can teleport to any open space within 120 feet that you can see. You may use this feature a number of times equal to your charisma modifier per long rest. Really sweet and bare bones. We have Dominate, which is your 14th level ability. Your patron has bestowed upon you the ability to manipulate the weak-minded into serving you. As an action, you can choose one humanoid that you can see within 60 feet of you. That creature must make an intelligence saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC. If it succeeds, you cannot use this feature on it again. If it fails, it becomes friendly to you and obeys your commands until you finish this feature again. And then intelligent humanoids are harder to control in this way. If the target has intelligence of 8 or higher, it gains advantage on saving throw. If it fails on saving throw and has an intelligence of 12 or higher, you can repeat the saving throw at the end of every hour until it succeeds or breaks free. So this was almost verbatim copy and pasted from the Necromancer Warlock 14th level ability. The only change was, instead of making it undead, I made it into humanoid, which doesn't really make too much of a difference, as if you're choosing undead, you have a very slim chance of taking over a lich. If you're using humanoid, you have a very slim chance of taking over an archmage. Doesn't really matter. But that was the simple, bare bones explanation of the Warlock Wraith Patron. If you have any questions, please DM me below. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're interested. I got more of these coming, as well as a whole plethora of different games and gameplay coming out. So any support you can give is really appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one, and bye.